Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. We're here, actually, we're welcoming Anthony Rahayel today. I heard someone calling him Anthony Bourdain of Lebanon. And I called him basically the world cultural traveler. I mean, there's so many titles for you, Anthony.
Thank you.
But no one said, oh, the dentist. I didn't hear anyone say the dentist. But this is a different discussion. We'll talk about it later. Anyway, I have the pleasure, basically, and honor to sit and spend like some time over here talking with Anthony and you guys. I met Anthony a few years before. It was interesting. I was in Dubai. My wife basically calls me. She said, hey, your buddy on Instagram, it seems he's in Dubai. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm going to reach out to him. And so I emailed him. I was like, hey, my name is Antoine. I'm from the US. I'm here in Dubai. I would like to meet with you. So must be like 30 minutes. I get a call. And it was him. He said, hey, it's Anthony. I was like, who's Anthony? For a split second. Anyway, basically, it was like, oh my God, let's meet up. So we did. And since then, basically, we became friends. Anthony basically was, I'll let him basically explain how he transformed himself from the dentistry, which we have a lot of them here in this room, into into following his passion. I think he took a leap of faith in his own passion, and then he let the adventure begin, basically. Anthony, thank you so much for being here. We would love to hear a little bit more about you, about that food blog bug that got you. We'll have some questions. We ask people for some questions. They sent it to us, so we're going to try to go over some of them. And after that, we'll open it, maybe if there's more questions from everyone here. And we had some last-minute emergency cancellations for some of the food people and catering and restaurants, but we have some that are still here, and they're proud of it, and we're going to taste it together. And we have a small surprise from the city of LA that the executive committee and the board of trustees will offer it. At the same time, I would like to thank the board members that are here and Judge Cardo, LA Superior Court judge. Hello, Judge. Thank you for leaving the emergencies that you had at home and you came here. I'm not going to tell them what it is, but all right. Anyway, let's start with first question that everyone was wondering. You say, أحلى بلد بالعالم. So why don't we start with this? How did you get from jumping from the dentistry into blogging and making sure everyone knows around the world that Lebanon is أحلى بلد بالعالم?
So first of all, thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for connecting with me, and thank you so much for coming. And I know how hard and the life is and fast around here. So it's an honor and a pleasure, and I hope I'll be sharing my story and connecting us together, all together with Lebanon more and more, and that is what I've been trying to do for the last 11 years. So the idea is very simple. Let's start and pick it up on the Anthony Bourdain thing. So why would we, Arabs, let's put it to bracket, speaking Arabic and Lebanese, follow an international YouTuber, TV channel star, blogger, or whatever that speaks English? So it started building up in my mind for the last 15 years. Why would I follow Anthony Bourdain? Why would I follow Guy Fieri? Why would I follow anyone that doesn't speak my language and doesn't speak my culture? And I wanted to be one of the first that speaks Lebanese, connects Lebanese all across the globe, goes all around and shows the world Lebanon as not seen on the news. And unfortunately, what you know about Lebanon is the news, is the bad things, is politics, is we don't have electricity, we don't have water, people are dying from hunger, all of us left. But guys, I'm still in Lebanon. I educate my kids in Lebanon. We're still in Lebanon, and I assure you that you need at least 5 days in advance to book a restaurant in Lebanon. We have more electric cars than you have in all of California, probably. And I can continue on and on and on and on. So this is how it started. And it started back in 2012 when I started writing in English on my blog about restaurants. Is it good? Is it bad? Because it didn't start as promoting restaurants or promoting what I do. It started by, why would everything online be good? Why would people who have money have their restaurant advertised everywhere? Why we cannot read in the news or in a newspaper about a restaurant, and through experience that happens. So this is how it started. And then 2014, we went to MTV on our national television and told them, I want to create a TV show about the villages of Lebanon. And the answer was, who would watch something like this? No. So I went back home, not understanding why, and then continued for the next 6 months on lobbying and calling every single day, I want a TV show about Lebanon. I want a TV show about Lebanon. And the answer was, we cannot sell ads about it. Nobody wants to see anything about Lebanon. Positivity doesn't sell, so we need something negative. And I continued on lobbying until one day I received a phone call saying, please, can you come and do that show for 7 minutes and let's see how it goes. Boom, 7 minutes, everybody watches it, everybody talks about it. If you go and watch my first show, I was like shy, no microphone, didn't know how to connect with the camera. And I was so perseverant about it. Then 11 years in the making, 3,000 shows already, 4,500 videos published on YouTube. My show, which we're talking about, is now 25 minutes, passes 11 times per week on MTV. And it connected with all the Lebanese across the globe. So the idea was very simple. I'm going to make it shorter. The idea was very simple. Thank you. How can we, one, connect with 16 million expats or Lebanese across the globe? How can I show Lebanon as not seen on TV and not seen on the news and show my Lebanon? I always call it #myLebanon. And I can tell you about my Lebanon, أحلى بلد بالعالم. I can tell you about my Lebanon and your Lebanon and not the Lebanon that has happened today that is not ours. Again, and why it is still أحلى بلد بالعالم. So my Lebanon, your Lebanon, how can we connect together? And something I repeat again and again, I'm there, we are back in Lebanon protecting your country, and you are away from Lebanon supporting our country. So all together we connect, we work together, all together, us in Lebanon protecting your land and your heritage and your roots. You outside Lebanon thinking about us, sending money, buying from us, lobbying for us, etc. You are making what Lebanon is Lebanon, and together we connect to make it أحلى بلد بالعالم. So we need to appreciate that bond that happens. Us not saying تركونا وفلوا, you not saying شو بعدك عم تعمل هونيك, and together we continue to build up the Lebanon of the future. And that is what I do, without probably you knowing it or feeling it, while saying هيدا اللي بياكل كتير. Great, I'll continue eating while the mission continues, and that mission is keeping that Lebanon alive, our Lebanon, your Lebanon, keeping it alive. And if we go on why أحلى بلد بالعالم, because we're probably one of the most intelligent people on earth. We're one of the most successful people on earth. We have one of the most beautiful countries that has 4 seasons, 300 days of sun, all the vegetables that taste like vegetables, fruits taste like fruits, family vibes, family values, family reunions that you cannot see anywhere else in the world. If someone is scratched, you have all the country that says, we want to help him, we want to support him. وينك يا حبيبي يا تقبرني تعاني معنا. You would go live outside of your house just to let your neighbor live inside. You would kill yourself for anyone, Lebanese or not, because you believe that you want to be giving and you want to be generous about it. We live in a small country where we never stay in line for food. We never stay in line to go into a restaurant, where there is no traffic anyway, where everybody knows everywhere, where we're all surrounded by family and friends that know each other, and I can continue for on and on and on. So the Lebanon, أحلى بلد بالعالم, is not about politicians that we elected. It's not about what's happening and we decided to be. It's about a true land that has been here for the last 7,000 years, that have created us the DNA of أحلى شعب بالدنيا, in أحلى بلد بالعالم, and this is what it is.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you.
Did I answer half the questions?
I mean, I started like crossing out. Okay, I'm done. Let me get out. Thank you. So I'm trying to, link all these together, and a lot of times, basically, what you do, like when you're traveling abroad, you try to basically touch upon places, restaurant, or F&B, let's say, businesses that are kind of like co-owned by Lebanese people and things. I remember one time we were together and like we finished lunch and then he said, stop. It was like a hole in the wall inside the mall. It was Moshi's. And like, I'm coming from LA. We have Moshi's every corner over here. He said, no, you have to try these. This is owned by a Lebanese guy. And believe it or not, it was one of the best ones that I've ever had in Zakar. Anyway, when you're going out basically and you're traveling and you're meeting different Lebanese communities abroad, obviously some Lebanese communities are different than others. Some of them are more attached to their culture, to their traditions. Some of them are less attached. Where did you see the most attached community across, like, around the world, wherever you went? And where do you see the least attached?
Wow, this is going on YouTube, huh? So let me answer the first question, or let me tell you about why do I do what I do, is because there is literally nothing that unites us around the world. And if you know, probably you know 1% of it, and the rest that you do not know, the 16 million successful Lebanese around the world, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Probably now we have electricity, there's a Lebanese behind it. Now if you're using a water bottle in front of you, there's a Lebanese behind it. So the idea was, since I've traveled around probably 1,800 villages in Lebanon and supported as many as I can Lebanese success stories inside Lebanon, so why not go all around and meet all the Lebanese, which I call success stories or heroes around the world, and let us know about each other. I had this discussion with many, of which some in the room. It's not about you telling me about your business. It's not about you telling me if you're good or not. It's not about you sitting in front of the camera and saying, I have done it. No, it's what can we learn from it? What can another Lebanese staying in Lebanon or here being an employee for $300, watching that Lebanese success story on my YouTube channel, that little small media I have, and looking and saying, I want to reach it. Yes, I want to become it. And if you go on YouTube, I'm not sure how many you've watched, and you've seen that these Lebanese in USA, in Australia, in Canada, super big, successful people, of which some have their name on big hockey arenas. Others have 6 hotels of 55 stories each. Others have 15 restaurants of the best in Miami. And others have 17 McDonald's in one of the states. And others. So when you look at it, you just take a step back and say, okay, how can I reach? How can I be like him? And yes, we can. So we are one of these communities that unfortunately love each other, but do not support each other much. So we live for one another, for oneself and not for one another. So accordingly, how can we reconnect all together in such places, online or not, know about each other, support each other or learn from each other? So I said, okay, I'm going to try doing it as much as I can and go traveling all around the world. I've done Canada twice this year, Australia twice, and going third time. USA, it's going to be this month and August again. I'm trying to do Europe as much as I can, etc., etc. And trying to search for not only small restaurants or small businesses. Food unites us, لقمتنا بتجمعنا متفقين, but there are way more than that. So searching for these Lebanese success stories, of which I can tell you hundreds in Australia that are amazing, and learning from them, and what can we learn, what can they teach to others watching these videos, and this is the idea. The community that, answering the question, so the community that lives a lot together is the Australian. Probably why? Because they are very far. Probably because you need 19 hours to reach them, even though you will need the same amount of time here, but in a bigger country like USA, you're all connected together. So there are Lebanese, there are Arabs, we're all together, and we adapted according to what the country is. In Australia, the beauty of it, they have traveled, most of them 50 years back, and paused. So the language is still the same, the habits are still the same. Personally, the best Lebanese food I've had outside of Lebanon is there, not adapted to what the country wants. I'm going to say it as is, and I know it. I've had a shawarma in Canada with beans, tabbouleh, tarator, hummus, spicy sauce, meat and chicken combined. And I was, come on, man, no, okay, wait, do not call it a shawarma. What's that? And the answer was, this is how they eat it. And my answer was, not at all. You educated them to eat this way. And unfortunately, when someone eats something bad, they would say the Lebanese cuisine is something that fills up the stomach. So what the hell? Do you go to Italy and ask them to do the pizza the way you want or the way it is? And I finished 1 month in Canada with that 12-minute video talking with the camera and saying, you touched my heritage. Please stop. So enough. What the hell? That didn't happen in Australia. So I think I
You
answered the
survived
question.
at least Canada. I mean, good luck, good. Anyway, we don't have it here. No, when we add everything, we add the beans on everything, but that's how it is over here.
Yeah.
Anyway, and rice. I wanted to go back a little bit and touch upon a little bit that change, that switch that you've done in your life, in your career. You were married when you did that change, right? Okay, and then your wife didn't kill you. She didn't kick you out. Like, are you crazy? What are you doing? And then I want to basically touch upon it because like there's a lot of like uh, young leaders that we have here with us. We have the young Lebanese community, basically, they making their decisions, their futures, their career decisions. They're trying to follow, well, our parents, my mom, my dad was a doctor, I have to be a doctor, my dad is an attorney, the traditional stuff. And here we have someone who followed the legacy of his family and then at some point said, like, to hell with it, and shut down the door, basically, close your clinic, and decided to do something else. Can you tell us a little bit about this experience? How easy, how hard? Did people believe in you? Did they say, like, you're unemployed? What happened?
It's a very complicated maturity struggle between yourself and yourself. And it's believing in yourself and believing in lots of things that happen in this life. I'm not going to go talking psychology now, but I'm going to say what I believe and connect to it or not. I strongly believe in do more of what makes you happy, and I build my life around it. I strongly believe in everything happens for a reason. I strongly believe that the power of the mind can move mountains, and accordingly, the fourth, I'm a big believer in everyone calls it the way he wants. Call it the architect, call it the creator, call it God, call him whatever you want. Believer in the power of the world and power of the creator. So accordingly, if you put the four, you reach a certain point in time and believe that I have to leave the clinic because I can do more to this world and to people and make a change, when in the clinic I would just remove the pain of one person or do a nice tooth for one person. Two, it happens for a reason. When I had that, okay, close the door, just go. Three, I felt that I can do not fit in between four walls, even though I was so happy and loved what I do, and followed what I love to do. So accordingly, I would tell my kids, I would tell any one of the young people, it's not about what you studied. At university, you study how to think. You learn how to think. You learn how to use your brain. And then at the end, the more you use your brain, the more you can achieve. I ended up managing a group of 35 restaurants, finished and consulted for one of the biggest F&B groups in Dubai, and we talked about it. And then on a plane, people asked me, where do you live? I said, my family is in Lebanon, but I live on a plane. From place to place, always spreading happiness. This is what I do, spreading happiness, sharing joy, very humbly, with a big smile, trying to make a difference in this world and keeping something for my kids. It's a legacy. What would I leave to them? Videos on YouTube. And a good reputation of their father. So all of this is one of the things. In 2018, closed the door and said, God, let's go. I'll do it. And it just connected and ongoing.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Any dentists in the room?
I'm sure you want to do the same.
Don't do this at home. Don't try it at home, okay? All right. Jumping into your motto, if you want. No garlic, no onions, right? We know for a fact that a lot of the Lebanese food, or it's like based on garlic and onions. So how are you trying to manage, basically, try to talk about it? Oof, amazing. You look at it, and we start drooling over here watching you talking about it, and there's no garlic, no onion that you're trying in it.
That's a long answer. Based on is something Teta told us, Grandma told us, but it's wrong. It's not based on. It's one flavoring like any other flavoring, like the 7 spices. We don't know who brought them into our cuisine, but they are. Like any spice we add. So in my opinion, garlic and onion are in addition to the cuisine, but my grandma, like yours, old generations would say, eat more garlic, it's good for your health. No. Eat more onions, it's good for your health. No, accordingly. And us as dentists, please let me say it and confirm or not. we smell a certain bad smell of garlic and onion that does not come from the mouth. It comes from the stomach. And garlic and onion are absorbed by blood, and they go in your عرق, in your sweat. متفقين? We agree on that. So accordingly, 80% up to 80% of people do not digest garlic and onion, and yet بيضايقني كتير بس بحبه. What the hell? What the hell? So I cannot eat garlic and onion. I cannot at all. It kills me. I would sleep immediately like kryptonite for Superman. It's all the way. And then I built up my life, 11 years in the making, without garlic and onions. And how would I know if a chef is good, really good, very professional chef? I would arrive and say, do you put garlic in your hummus? 2 answers. Of course, yes. Bam. Bad. Of course not. Good. You're a good chef because you know your thing. And 90% of hummus I've had in my life do not have garlic. And probably all the hummus you have in the United States have garlic. I don't know why. It's a wrong perception. 1. 2, the second thing, I cannot eat onions. Would you do me a tabbouleh without onions? Answer 1, it cannot be done. Bam. Answer 2, of course, I'll manage. And then you'll have to add a little bit of lemon zest, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt, a little bit probably of what we call it, شو اسمه عصير العنب, 1 second, حصرم, etc. to cover on the onion smell, onion flavor, and you eat it and say, wow, this chef knows his shit. So yes, I do not eat garlic and onion, and I love it. And you will really know and feel every single ingredient, every single. Have you ever had a fatteh without garlic? Please do. You will enjoy the yogurt. You will enjoy every single ingredient without having that empowering flavor of that ingredient. صحتين ايه مش عم بقنعكم. Please enjoy. That covers on the rest.
Good. Well, we made sure there's no onions or garlic in the food today. Pompadour, any onion in the chocolate cakes? Nothing? Okay, good. You're good today. Thank you. Anyway, speaking of this, one of the there's one fast casual place over here in Beverly Hills that they do. It's owned by Lebanese, and his concept was basically like no onions and no garlic in their food for one simple reason. It's a business decision because it's surrounded by businesses around them, and for lunchtime they don't want anyone to come down and eat anything with garlic and go back to their offices. It was such a smart thing, basically, and people stand in line over there to eat at lunch.
100%.
Yeah, anyway. Going back also to everyone's basically like, I know for my kids, everyone, my parents, they're on like Instagram, Facebook, all these things. So you've been through this, and you're one of the few people who actually exposed your family, your wife and your kids, to Instagram and to your blog and to your videos and everything there, everywhere. How has the experience been having them involved in your project and having their names and their faces everywhere on TV, computers, everything? They still go to school. How was it?
For a joke before answering the question, my little one, Evan, is a very cool guy. He looks like Kevin of Home Alone, always with a hat behind his, on his head. So he goes to school, hands in pocket, walks like a macho guy, and he's only 8. And all the 17, 16, 18 guys come to him, oh, you're the son of garlic and onions? Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. And he walks around the school, and he loves it so much. So when we went to Abu Dhabi all together, I heard a discussion with him and his brother saying, Dad wants me next to him. I eat better with him. No, you sit on the left, I sit on the right. You know, when he eats, he starts with me. No, he started with you. So they have this discussion, which was fun. So answering the question, it was one, this is how I live. This is who I am. This is who we are. And I believe for the ones who watched it, this is us at home. So we didn't even fake it, didn't even think of it. This is how it is. We are, alhamdulillah, a very happy family. My kids love it. Even though they watch none of my videos. They don't care about their father. For them, is Mr. Beast and whoever, the famous YouTubers. So I go back home and say, guys, I'm a YouTuber. Like, come on, watch what I do. Okay, no, it's okay. The other one, the YouTube, he offered me $1 million for whoever. So they live in that, but when they go to school, we We're the family of no garlic, no onions. And then they come back home. My daughter is 11. She always tells me, Dad, I'm not sure why. Everybody comes to me and says, oh, no garlic, no onions. Come on. What did you do? so anyway, it's a fun experience at home.
All right, nice. Well, speaking of experience at home, do you guys compete, you and your wife, about like the cooking? Because I know she has her own blog sometimes, and like she, prepares some stuff.
It's very clear. She cooks, I eat. Very clear. We do never compete. You cook, I eat. Very simple, straightforward.
All right, that's good. All right, another question that came along was, how do you handle criticism on social media and attacks? I, for once, I noticed one time, oh God, poor guy, like they started attacking him. It was right around the earthquake that happened. It was like, and I wasn't the one being attacked, and I felt so bad. So how did you handle it? How did your family handle it?
Long time ago, again, a maturity thing, 10 years back, you would have said, I want to answer him, I want to go into a debate, and you will never win a debate with call it immature, stupid, or whatever. And then in the making, you would always remind yourself, you have 2 million people that follow you, and 1 people attacking. Would you put all your energy in 1, or remember that you have 2 million? So accordingly, I personally won't answer. On another hand, when there is a certain attack, when there is certain irresponsibility, when there is something that is really harsh, I would just restrict the person, so this person cannot message me anymore, for one reason, to respect others, 1. 2, if you have something constructive you want to tell me, you can send me a personal message. So this is how I, very, very openly, this is how I look at it. And when the Turkey earthquake happened, and I had huge hundreds and hundreds of attacks at it, I got like 500 unfollows in an hour on that day. The answer was, and I did also an interview about it, the answer was, did you stop going to work the next morning? None has. Why would I? So this is my work, this is my job. I was scheduled to be in Malaysia. I was invited by the government of Malaysia to be there. I cannot stop my life for it. And I'm not in search of more followers going on like probably all social media influencers. We are crying for whatever is happening. Please follow me. I'm going to start giving aids and supporting and getting cash for. This is not my job. I have a certain job, spreading happiness, sharing joy. When all the news platforms were posting about it, you just wanted one picture in the feed with someone smiling. And this is what I continue to do. And the last point, you always remind yourself that all the negativity that happens, people forget it the next morning. So 2 days in the making, everybody followed me back.
That's good. I like that part. Anyway, what I'm going to try to do is to combine like 4 or 5 questions in one. And then I'd like to open it to the room and the guests, see what they have also to ask. So some of the questions were, okay, so what was the worst thing that you've ever eaten? And what was the best thing that you've ever eaten? And along the way, what was your best trip outside of Lebanon? And what was the best trip inside of Lebanon?
One of the worst things I had to eat, not gonna tell you the country, but I was invited once in one of my tours. We're gonna be close, but I won't tell you the country. In the desert to a local family. بيسموهم العشاير القديمة. So I was invited, sat on the floor, very honored, went into his tent. He invited me with his family, and then you have to eat our food. And this food starts coming in, bread, milk, ghee, sand, whatever. And we were 5 filming. It was a big episode we're doing. So we're all sitting all together, me next to the sheikh, and then I see Lies saying, I have to call Lebanon. Mark says, my wife just called. Kareem looks at me and says, I think the camera needs batteries. And I sat alone, and this guy started with his hands. I was sweating like you cannot imagine. First bite, oh my God.
Amazing.
The worst thing I've had in my life. And then I had to give an answer. I didn't find the words. So second bite, and then went out of the tent and started shouting in all languages of the world, guys, I took one for you, come on, come back, just do something. So this was the worst one. So we filmed part of it, but this is the first one. The best thing I've had in Lebanon definitely is Lebanese food. So let me tell you why Lebanese food is the best in the world. Probably you know, probably not. We have more than 200 plates on a mesa table. And now we're working in Abu Dhabi with one of the restaurants to prove that we can put up to 1,000 plates on a mesa table. You'll hear about it later on. And the real number I've seen and taken picture of is 83.
And when did you start eating it? Like at what time you started?
So it took probably 2 hours, but half of them have garlic and onions. But just to tell you how many varieties we have. So we're not the country that has fish and chips and a little bit of dried meat. 83 up to 200 on one table. And then none of us eat meza at home. And then think how many yakhnet and tabkhat and home food we have. Probably up to 200. And one of the good things that we can look at from all the wars we've had is that 2,200 villages of Lebanon have evolved separately. So you have 3 to 4 ways of doing raw kibbeh. The raw kibbeh of the north has nothing to do with the raw kibbeh of the south. The spices that you have in the north have nothing to do with the spices in the south. More than 20 ways of doing hummus, more than 10 ways of doing labne alone, more than 5 ways of doing laban, and so on and so forth. So the war that separated us at a certain period of time, probably 30 years in the last decade, has let us evolve in a way where every one of the villages has evolved their own cuisine, and then we reunited, and social media was created, and then everyone wanted to share with the others, look at my kibbeh, look at my yakhni, look at my frike, herise, and so on and so forth. So more than 200, and then the home food, and then all the varieties, of which 70% of it is naturally vegan. In a world where everybody wants to eat vegan and all the processed food we're seeing around, vegan burger and vegan pizza and vegan whatever, we're naturally 70% vegan. One can live out of eating Lebanese food. And then it's part of something amazing written by the UNESCO and United Nations and approved by all the doctors of the world called the Mediterranean diet that has fresh vegetables, real food, real colors, sharing, colors, spices. And you will crave it every single day because it's not too spicy like Asian food. It's not fatty like the Western world. It's just comfort, normal food. So all of these, you cannot but say my favorite cuisine in the world is Lebanese. Comes next is a nice pasta bolognese, but Lebanese food is good as well.
I'm just thinking about the Michelin star experience we had under the tent. That's very nice with the hands, but that's nice. So obviously it wasn't in Paris, I would assume.
Definitely.
If you wanted to guess. Okay. No, maybe. Anyway, my last question, and then we're going to open it up. So what's your next destination, and what's left on your bucket list?
Japan is on the bucket list, definitely. More of Asia, India is definitely on the list and planning it. I have to do Brazil, which was planned 2013. I'm going to push it to 2014 and working on it. What I have planned, now you're going to see me in probably 6 or 7 cities in the next month. And then I go back to Paris, Switzerland, London, back home for a day, Melbourne, Sydney, Adelaide, Tasmania, so Australia tour, go back to Lebanon for a week. I have to be in Dubai for 3 days. And then I have to continue my show in Iraq, which we didn't talk about, but I can tell you about Iraq and what I'm doing in Iraq. And then back to Detroit and all the upper part of America in August. And then I have Qatar in October for a month. That's good for now. Good one.
That's my dad. Good. Well, thank you. So what we're going to do, we're going to open it up. We'll switch microphone. I'll take the microphone, give it to people. All right? That's the best way, I guess. Here we go. Here you go. All right. Any question, I'll run to you, give you the microphone. All right. Please introduce yourself before the question.
Sure. My name is Handy Nashel. I'm amazed about your experience with manish. Probably you eat thousands of them a year, and you go to these little mom and pop stores. You have a way of describing everyone in a positive manner. It fascinates me because whether it's thick, it's thin, it's big, large, crunchy, soft, you always find the positive to compliment people coming in. I'd like to know what's the texture of your favorite. If you have to make a perfect manouche, what would it be like?
I love the question, and I'm going to complicate the answer. A good manouche is a mindset. So the manouche is not a manouche, is not a breakfast. A manouche is you wake up in the morning and feel like eating something crispy and crunchy with a little bit of Lebanese and olive oil. You might go on in your day and an hour later feel like, I missed someone like a pillow. And then you take that thick manouche, fluffy, with a little bit of milk inside it, sugar, which you don't know, but it's so fluffy, it feels like a focaccia. And then you can finish and say, lately I'm craving a nice manouche jibne with tomatoes. And the tomatoes will soak the bread, and the cheese will become more elastic. It's just amazing. It doesn't need no cucumbers and no mint. And then, you know what? After hours, a nice manouche sage, amazing sage, that is cooked on the downside and doesn't have the fire on the upper side, that has a strong acidity, and then I put nice vegetables inside it, wrap it like a sandwich, toast it a little bit, and every crunch is like an explosion of crispiness and nice flavors in the mouth. So what I'm trying to say is, honestly, there is no one manouche, and yet thousands. And if you want to dig in, it goes into za'atar Lebanese, za'atar Urduni, za'atar Halabi, mixed or not, thick or small, with sugar or without, with milk or not. Is it sage, tannour, which is amazing, furan, on stone furan, ghaz, mazout, or hatab, and it makes a big difference. So yet, yes, we have an amazing, underrated breakfast because we do not know how to market it, and it doesn't look good. So a pizza is, what is a pizza? Pizza is one that Italian that came a couple hundred years back to Lebanon, and so a manouche that is black, not marketable, not good looking. He said, you know what, I'm gonna put tomatoes on it, it's more, it's more sexy. And they created a pizza. I'm joking, no offense to Italians. So why don't we have Michelin restaurants? Yet we have one or two. Why our cuisine does not compete with the rest? Why do we have that shawarma, unfortunately, that is wrapped with a million things? Because our cuisine is not, we didn't know how to present it well, but it's so sexy that every single nationality in the world just had to put the cedar tree on the restaurant and sell it as a Lebanese. And everybody's doing it. Our cousins are doing it. The lower cousins, the upper cousins, the right cousins, everybody's doing it. And what are we doing about it? عتلانين هم مين رح ننتخب واذا انت عونة وجه. Come on. So if we only unite around making our cuisine united, sexier, and probably create that international law that says you are not allowed to use the word Lebanon or the cedar tree or anything if you're not at least Lebanese. Minimum. So manouche is a mindset, and manouche needs, when I look at manaish, the ones here or anyone, it's not za'atar with dough. It's love, it's attention, it's lots of things. So I'm picky in my manaish. Even though the manaish I film are good, I'm very hard to please when it comes to manaish.
Like I can write a book about manaish.
We should.
Anyway, next questions. Thank you, Anthony.
Just one quick saying about manaish that I saw on MTV. They made this song for manouche. Did you hear it?
I was on air.
Oh, you were? Yeah. Oh, okay. So
There's nothing that happens around manaish if I'm not there. So.
Anyway, name, and let's add one thing to it. Let everyone know what is your best clip or session or anything about Anthony that you have seen.
Your knowledge of the
Name
places.
first.
My name is Abir I'm sorry. Your knowledge is impressive for you to find these places. Actually, this is my question. How do you continue to find new places to visit and to tell us about? What tool do you use?
In 2012, I was writing a restaurant review in Beirut, and I was kicked out of it, out of the restaurant, 2012. And the waiter comes to me and says, the owner tells you, you're not allowed to steal our menu. This food is not for pictures. You come here to eat or just leave. 2012. 2 years, 2014, I'm on TV. Instagram is born. The same restaurant calls me and says, you didn't pass by us for advertisement yet. So I'm super perseverant, and I want to cover them all. I want to try all. ما في شي بوقف. I want to go all the way. And I follow my sixth sense, my feeling. And you can ask the guys that are with me. Sometimes we are driving, and then I say, stop, I felt something. I felt this guy, I need to go back. So we go back, go down, a nice lady looks at me and says, you're the one that films. It's my turn now? Okay, it's your turn. Give me some good food. So there's this part. Others that say, and still, why are you filming my food? Why are you filming my food? And my answer is, with a big smile, you'll know tomorrow. And the tomorrow is 600% increase in sales. I go back 2 weeks in the making to that same guy, same lady, and say, do you want me to film again? La, please stop. I can't handle more customers. Please stop. Khalas, enough, done. So lots of things happened in the last 11 years and ongoing. It's much more than food. For me, it's much more than food. So when someone asks me, what do you do? I connect people. It's people and their food. It's not food and the people. It's putting a smile on these people's faces that are doing something very important in the village, and were never recognized. So you come with your camera and say, I'm going to put you on YouTube. I'm going to recognize you. I'm going to give you a big kiss and say, bravo, you're doing something good. For you, it might be, but for him, he lives around it. So going and putting him on TV and having all the world call him and say, wow, شفناك على التلفزيون, bravo. It's the check recognition. I've done it in my life. And that nobody else did. Because in our world, to be here, you need to have the money, the success, the power, the company, the employees, the tie, and the jacket. But he does مناقيش. And this is how it started. Being the face of people who do not have social media and recognizing their effort, it might be simply because they educate their family. And so, Krikor.
Mr. Johnny, Joseph Efraim, it was very nice to see you person to person tonight. And thank you for House of Lebanon. Always he put every Lebanese together here. We thank you guys. God bless you.
Thank you.
Just tell you, as we're human, and especially in Lebanon, every person, he have a role model. I have a role model politician person. I have a role model in my religion. I have role modeling for things. And people disagree and agree. We agree and disagree, all of us, but in the end, we are Lebanese. Today, you are the raw of Lebanon, the role model of Lebanon, because all of us, we don't disagree about it.
Thank you.
Why? Because you promote Lebanon. I did follow politicians because I love Lebanon. And you are the person, you introduced Lebanon to me. You introduced the agriculture, the food, businesses. So you become a role model for all of us with no discussion, with no disagreement. God bless you.
Thank you.
And good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, name and if you have anything you watched before.
Hi, my name is Chris Farah. I'm an actress comedian here in Los Angeles. I follow you on Instagram, and I'm so excited to be here. And something that I was talking to a friend who's not Lebanese, and I told him I was coming to come see you, and she knew you too. She's like a Black American, okay, like not Lebanese. She loves the food though because she's smart. And she was like, oh, he's so warm, and he has so much joy. And I was like, oh, I know. And I sat here, and it's one of the very first things you said about yourself. You know that you are incredibly joyous and warm. And it is a palpable feeling across the board when you watch your videos. How are you like that? Because it's not always easy. And obviously I know that, there's bad things that happen in the day, but like, is there videos or there takes sometimes where you're not as nice? And do you say like, oh, editing room floor, like they'll never see those ones. Are they in, like a safe somewhere? Or is it like meditation you do in the morning to get yourself in a state? Any tips or tricks? But also, again, I just want to say, it's so incredibly effective.
Thank you so much. Thank you. What is the definition of a problem? 3 words. Something that has a solution. And I remind myself of it every single day. So accordingly, there are no problems. So you have solutions for it. And since I believe that everything happens for a reason, since I believe that I'm spreading happiness, since I believe in the Creator or God, since it's simple. So you put them all together with an aim and a mission. So when I consult, the question is, do you have a plan what you want to become in 5 years? None have. You have to have an answer, every one of you. What do you want to become in 5 years? So accordingly, you would live your life differently. So you would wake up at 5 a.m. with a purpose. I want to put a smile on people's faces. When I look at the camera, it's not the camera. I love it. I enjoy it. I look at thousands of people watching me. I talk with thousands of people watching me. And this is how I connect. My eyes go beyond the camera, and I talk with them. I tell them about my manoushi. I tell them about what I feel, what I do. And the most important thing, I'm the most transparent person on earth. What you see is what you get. If I don't like you, I don't like you. If I like you, I like you. So I don't have to fake it to be on camera. And we're all together now, and I think you can see it. It's just, I enjoy making a difference in this world. I enjoy it. I really enjoy it. And I enjoy food as well. So when I eat in front of the camera, I just cherish it. I enjoy it. I get transported into another world you can't imagine. And probably this is what it is. Even though I didn't study it, been a dentist, 9 years of studies, etc., etc. But it's just about being cool. شو فيها الدنيا, we say in Arabic. It's just cool. The stressed people are stress people around them, and then at the end, respect to all die from cancer. So just enjoy. So this is what it is. I don't even take anything. I don't meditate. I'm just a happy, enjoyment person, and I love it.
Thank you for the therapy session, Anthony. Anyway, here we go.
Hi, Anthony. I'm Adrian Ayub. I watched a lot of your videos. It kind of like introduced. I'm only asking because it's like my ancestral Lebanese town, but does Marjaoun have the best falafel? I watched your video and that falafel looked pretty amazing. Yeah. And the scenery and stuff was pretty amazing too.
Marjaoun is amazing. I have 5 places I can eat at falafel in Lebanon, considering falafel has garlic and onion with huge quantities. And falafel is something that is round, fried, and nobody knows what's inside. So you can put, you name it inside and you won't know. So the 5 places I recommend, of which one in Marjaoun, one has been doing it for the last 100 years or so. No garlic, no onions. It's fresh, clean, and you enjoy it. Talking about falafel, it's exactly like a donut. The oil stays on the outside. So it's not fried, so not healthy. I'm not saying it's healthy, but it's good for the health.
No.
It's good for eating. Anyway, you understood what I mean. So the donut, look at the donut. The donut has less calories than a manoushi. I'm not saying eat donuts, but the donut, when it goes in deep frying oil at 180, the oil just stops at the outside part. So the dough on the inside, if you look at it, if you eat the donut, you never have oil inside. So the dough is cooked on the inside, but oil just stops on the outside. It is oiled, it is fried. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's healthy food, but it's well done not to absorb oil if it's well proofed. Same for the falafel. If it has the right consistency, right ingredients, some put in it potato, and you don't know. It adds value because oil follows the potato, but it will be more oily, and oil will go inside. Some do it with fool, some do it with hummus, some do it with garlic, onions, some do it with lots of mix of greens, etc. So if you know what falafel is, I like the ones in Marjaoun, and one of my favorites is the one in Beirut, closest to everyone, that is Sahyun.
I never made it to there. I was in Jazine, and then something happened. I had to go back. But Jazine had some pretty amazing Where's your favorite place for crepes?
Favorite place for grapes?
Crepe.
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 Like Nutella crepe, yeah.
Paris.
All right. 3 more questions, and then we're full. There you go.
Hi, thank you for coming, visiting us in LA. I wanted to know,
Your name.
my name is Rahayel, and I wanted to know, have you ever had a bad experience on camera where you were filming and you didn't like the food, and how did you handle it?
Thanks.
I'm very honest, I cannot tell you that it's good if it's not. At the end, there is my reputation at stake. It cannot happen. So accordingly, I would stop the camera, finish my filming, stop the camera, and tell the person in charge or the owner or whatever, your food is bad. This is bad, this is bad. And the best thing I like to do, and I've done it lately, 2 days ago, I had a shawarma that was terrible. So I called the guy and say, since I ate that terrible thing, as is, these are the words. Since I ate that terrible thing, you deserve to eat it as well. So please take a bite. So he takes a bite and say, are you feeling how dry it is? Are you feeling how thick the bread is? Okay, so next time, شو بدي بالشغلة؟ ما تبعت وراي. And then we continued to another part. So I had that, it was the shawarma, and then I had the roast beef sandwich. So I eat the roast beef, and it was, oh my God, so dry. So I give him please, Habibi, خد لك كاتشي. So he had the roast beef. He started, بلش, take your time, 30 seconds in the making, okay? So please, next time you want to do food, understand food. Your guys do know nothing about food. You don't even have the minimum of know about food, but I'm ready to help. Call me in a month. If everything is good enough, I'll do another video and probably promote your place. But for now, thanks for the sandwich.
Okay, my name is Nabil Salman. First, I never heard you talking about knefe. This is one. Second, can I know how come you don't gain weight?
The question. Took an hour. Wow, طولت هالمرة. Let's talk about knefe. Knefe, the best knefe in Lebanon is from Saida. South Lebanon, do. With all my tours in Lebanon, knefe, the Saida people do it great for several reasons. One, it's very thin. Two, it doesn't crunch like the one Amal Bahsari has. Thanks, YouTube. So it doesn't crunch, so it's very smooth, soft, so you don't feel like you're eating a biscuit. And then their bread is not the bread Labaydor created. It's not the thick, very thick bread that fills up your stomach. It's the very thin bread of a ka'ke asraniya that is very fluffy and very soft. So when you put 2 layers of knefe inside it, and then you put the thin layer of ka'k, and you roll it like a sandwich, it's just out of this world. Accordingly, I'm a big fan of knefe, and I always say Lebanon, خلي كل واحد يعرف حدوده. قشطة, حليب الجبن, زنود الست, for Tripoli, Trablus, all the way. الكنافة، القصايدة، كل واحد عنده شغلة، كل واحد عنده شغلة بمنطقته. الكب قراص بيقول لك كب قراص أنا اخترعتها مرجعيون، لا صغرتها مثل ما هي يعني. So I'm a big fan of knefe. Why I don't don't gain weight? It's lots of things, of which probably you will agree to some and won't agree to others. One, I know when to stop. Two, I never eat something that is not good. Never. So last night I had dinner, which you're gonna watch on YouTube tomorrow. Dramatic, very bad dinner, super bad dinner. $130 per person, not worth it. I had a bite. And I slept without having dinner because I won't throw in my mouth bad food. This is a big no. And then we continue to this lunch today. On the way, fish and chips, nice, sexy Hawaiian restaurant. I had one bite. Bad food. And now I'm hungry. so this is probably one of the things. You need to know when to stop. Never eat because it's time. Don't eat garlic and onions. And I eat fried food. I've been to Iraq. Iraq is 50% fat, 50% meat. Amazing kebab. Amazing kebab. But all they do is eat fat. It's fat all the way, and I enjoy it. And they do not add to it vegetables like we do. So the kebab is not the Turkish kebab or the Lebanese kebab. It's 50% meat, 50% fat. The real lamb fat liye. Delicious. Delicious. Fat للركب يعني. But I don't gain weight because when I go to Iraq, I don't spend my time eating bread and everything that goes around. Even you have to drink tea like 10 times a day. I don't do it with sugar. So managing things. Let's focus on kebab.
Go ahead. Anthony, 2 more questions.
Yeah.
How come you can stop when you have a good dish near you? And it is good and tasty. How come you stop? How come?
You need to stay alive to enjoy it again because that piece of meat is not escaping. So I remind myself of that.
You can come back for it.
Hi, Anthony. Mimi Jubran from Palestine. I stumbled over your YouTubes like 4 years ago, and I was obsessed. My husband, I drove him crazy watching it. And then I think you jinxed us, and now Kinti Lebanani. So like maybe 2 years after I started watching your YouTubes, and my son was lucky to meet Maya, and when he introduced her to us, and she came and like, this crazy lady showing me this, this YouTube, because I would show her all the tubes, and I'm so excited. I don't have a question, but what I want to say, refer to what you started in the beginning about Lebanon. I fell in love with Lebanon because of your YouTubes.
Thank you.
It's amazing. It's a beautiful country, and I can't wait to go and see it. And thank you for doing this, because yes, you do unite the Lebanese. And
Thank you.
You give like it's a perfect picture of Lebanon and the Lebanese people. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to tell you a very emotional story that happened in Abu Dhabi, which I couldn't film because all the family was away to the toilets, etc. So I couldn't film it. So I was sitting at the restaurant inside the Ferrari park, so inside the park, and eating, filming myself, pizza, etc., etc. And then there is this lady, a big table of probably 12 persons. There's that young lady that comes to me and says, "Who are you?" So I replied in Arabic, English, both languages. I said, "أنا من لبنان, I باكل, whatever." She looks at me and says, "And you speak Arabic?" I said, "Yeah, I speak Arabic." "You're from Lebanon?" I said, "Yes, I'm from Lebanon." So her grandmother comes in, 88 years old, looks at her and says, tell him you watch Anthony in Lebanon. I looked at her and said, "I'm Anthony." She said, no, we watch this guy, Anthony in Lebanon. Said, "Madam, I'm Anthony." And a minute of silence, 12 people, persons, كلهم سكتوا, كلهم سوا, طلعوا بعضهم, and what the hell just happened? Wow, we saw you here, oh my God. So the lady, 88 years old, Palestinian, 48, cannot come to Lebanon, بعدهم بفلسطين. So she comes to me, hugs me, starts crying, and says, oh my God, this is the most beautiful day of my life. So the other 11 of her family started all crying. And then she looks at me and looks at them and says, this is the most beautiful day of my life. Today is my birthday. So all of them didn't know. So they started looking and said, Teta, why didn't you tell us? So today is my birthday, and I've got the best gift I've ever had. So very emotional. So I hugged her, and she was shivering like you cannot imagine. Amazing moment. And I said, I wish one day I can visit you. I can, but I wish, and I'll be on the first plane that goes, and hopefully it's going to happen. So that very emotional story. Same minute, that family comes in from the other table. Who are you? What just happened? Why is it that emotional? Please, I want to take a picture with you. Please tell me what happened. So I said, wait, who are you? Where are you from? He said, I'm from Dominican Republic. But whatever, something very strong happened. Let me take a picture with you. Okay. Thank you again.
Last question.
Hi, Anthony. Patrick from Radio Mount Lebanon.
Shut up,
Anthony and I met a year ago over the phone, and I had the pleasure to interview him, and I had no idea about him. And I had heard about him, but I stayed away from his videos because I love food, and I love Lebanon, and I was scared to be addicted to it. But then my co-host was supposed to interview him, and she didn't show up. And during the interview, I was so lucky that our listeners were feeding me questions to Anthony. And Anthony, I can vouch to you, he's like the nicest guy ever. So when I heard he's back in LA, I said, I have to interview him again. And this time we interviewed as if we were like long lost friends and we just saw each other again. Now, Anthony, after this whole long introduction and saying how wonderful you are, my question is, do you have any aspirations to be on an international food network, not just MTV in Lebanon?
It's definitely something, some of the things I asked the universe for. It's going to happen in due time if it's meant to be. I'll definitely be in the place of Anthony Bourdain on CNN, but I'm thinking about it. And probably it's going to happen one day if it's meant to be. So now from MTV Lebanon.
And now my other question is, do you need a sidekick? I'm okay.
So I started on MTV and ongoing, as I said. Now I'm on Iraqi television, being the hero, the big hero of all Iraqis around the world, and they love what I'm doing because, again, I showed, do you know Iraq? Do you know what happens in Iraq? Is it an investment country? Is it safe or not? What do you hear about Iraq? Bad things, unfortunately. So I've done 40 episodes to date. You cannot imagine. Every single Iraqi I meet around the world says exactly what Lebanese are saying. It's been 25 years, 30 years, 40 years, and we're back to our home country just because we saw it differently and we saw much more than what the news tells us. And hopefully I can do that in other countries and grow all around. It's speaking my very amazing, lovely Lebanese language, trying to unite Arab culture in the best way possible. Many people ask me, why don't you speak English? It defies the purpose. I can do it. I don't want to become another English-speaking guy touring the world. So it's you, us, connecting with each other, feeling the same, eating like you do, thinking like you do, and probably you will watch Malaysia, Australia, Canada, all around, and follow my steps because we think the same and feel the same. And this is what it is. So one day it's going to be on one of the big channels, if it's meant to be.
And one more thing about the non-Lebanese Arabs. The best compliment I got about you was on the last interview. One of my listeners who's not Lebanese said that Anthony made me love Lebanon much more. And he said, I would love to meet him in person, and he's going to come and meet you this week. I have to introduce him to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, for a second, I thought you were going to say, do you have any political aspirations? I was like, oh, shoot.
No.
Okay. Anyway, thank you. Madame Nahas, I have to, I can't. No, totally.
Good evening. We are so honored for you to be here. I mean, I don't want to say we watch your show. It's beautiful. As a Lebanese, I visit Oklahoma. My sons live in Oklahoma. And 99% are American. I mean, maybe less than 1% is Lebanese, Palestinian, or Arab. So the priest came to my son's home and we were having dinner and he ate Lebanese food he never ate before. And he went and he talked so much. And after 6 months, they sent me to go teach the ladies in the church to cook Lebanese food. And they loved it. So Lebanese food is internationally known. And Lebanon is our mother home. Nobody can say anything bad about Lebanon. Wherever it's happening, it's happening. But we love Lebanon as Lebanon, Jannah بالدب.
Thank you.
And
Thank
thank you for being
Thank you.
here.
Thank you, everyone. Anthony, thank you so much for the dentistry session, for the food session, for the therapy session. I mean, like, you really encourage everyone here basically to drop their US passports and go back to Lebanon right away. But we're here now. We're so happy to have you. Any closing statements, comments, whatever you want to say before we actually have a small surprise to present to you.
Thank you again. Thanks again. You're behind all of this. Thank you again. I would really add two last things before we close. One, if you didn't register your kids, your families, yourself to have the Lebanese passport, it's very important to have. Do not use it.
I work at
Perfect. So do not use it, do not go, do not whatever you want, but it's very important to have the Lebanese passport to preserve the demographies of our country, so please do not remove it. Things are going to change. Lebanon is going to become or re-become what it is. If your kids do not have the passport, just do the effort to do it, and the consulate will do it for you. It's very important. Two, and please understand it the way it is, Lebanon does not need money. It's not about you sending money to Lebanon. You're teaching Lebanese to just be dependent on you. That's not the point. Try as much as you can to buy from Lebanon. Buy from Lebanon, let people work in Lebanon. Probably now they're saying you cannot send money, do not support NGOs, etc. This is not what we need. We need you to buy from Lebanon. People are doing kmouni at home, people are doing homemade stuff at home, people are working. There are more than 200 factories that have opened this year. There are things that are amazing. Al-Maza is sending to more than 46 countries. Krikita Najjar is sending to more than 50 countries. And every time you buy a Lebanese product, think how many families are working in the factories doing it and how much of Lebanon's product are being exported. So just rethink every time you want to support Lebanon, do not send money probably to buy fuel, because money of fuel is going to go, and that family is going to spend the money that is supposed to be for fuel on something else, but install solar panels for the families. Do not, in my opinion, send money for education to pay for tuitions, but let the school that is putting a tuition of $2,000 or $3,000, put it at $1,000 and install solar panels for the schools, install generators for the school, and so on. So always think of Lebanon needs you, and we talked about it in the beginning. Send us السنارة مش السمكة. Buy from Lebanon and not send money to Lebanon لأنه حرام عترين بلبنان. لا الحمد لله. Buy from us. We'll work harder to make a living and continue.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you so much.